Fam, originally I was just gonna do like a little surface dive on this one. But this sister says so much, gives so much information that a deep dive is truly required because she is the epitome of the modern American toxic wife who leaves her husband for a bullshit reason and ultimately destroys their whole family dynamic and can't even say that they did it for a good reason. The entire family becomes collateral damage. Without further ado, let's explore.
What was okay? So from there to now getting divorced and now really being by yourself with three
Oh,
kids, what
yeah,
was it like?
that's right.
Okay, so let's set the stage. This woman was not only married, but she was married and had 3 kids with this man. So it's the 3 kids who are most susceptible to her bad decision making. Let's continue.
And you're like,
So that was hard because I never thought I was going to get divorced, even though I was the one that left.
Just so the folks know that I'm not lying, who left the marriage? Who filed for divorce? Who left whom?
Even though I was the one that left.
Now, this is the part where we usually are told that the man was just some horrible whoremonger who just couldn't keep it in his pants, or he was some immensely abusive figure who was whooping her ass or making her feel small. He was doing all the horrible things to break her soul. So, by all means, let her rip, sis. Tell us how horrible your husband was.
I took y'all, and not without his knowledge. We had talked about it before. We were having some marital issues, and so we bought investment properties and we flipped properties. You remember that? And we had a house that was just nearing completion, and I was like, okay, well, I can take the kids and move there. Stupid move.
Okay, so far, she's not telling us anything horrible about the husband. In fact, what she's talking about sounds like a relatively stable, productive, increasing life that she's having with this man. They've acquired various properties, they've sold various investment properties, and we're nearing the completion of apparently a brand new home. What, what's the marital problem?
But that's what I did, and if I didn't think we would get divorced.
So, just to be clear, this woman literally plots on what she's going to do after the divorce, up to and including having already figured out that she's going to move into the new house that apparently was being built for both her, her husband, and their kids. She's the one who filed. But now she wants us to believe that even though she filed for the divorce, she initiated the divorce, that it just wasn't going to happen. For those out there who are not interested in getting a divorce, you know what the best way to not get divorced is? Not to file for one.
I thought that if I moved the family to another part of Knoxville, that he would realize I don't want my family to be over there. I want my wife and my 3 kids in this house.
So, just to be clear, what she's lamenting at this point isn't the fact that she destroyed her family, presumably over this act of manipulation, because that's exactly what she was trying to do, manipulate this man. But she is upset that her manipulation failed in the aftermath of the divorce. You see, she thought that if they had spent all this money building up this brand new house, that if she divorced this man, well, she was just supposed to get this brand new house. But that's not how apparently their assets were divided. She didn't get the brand new house. So fuck him. Fuck the heartache and the stress and the traumatic experience that she subjected her husband to by filing for divorce and carrying out the divorce with this man. No, she's worried. She's concerned about her not getting the house.
That's not what happened though. That's, and on my part, there was a silly assumption on my part, because you don't do things that you're not really committed to.
And in this case, I would argue that her marriage is a perfect example of that, because apparently she divorced her husband for a relatively frivolous reason. And supposedly she was committed to him, but as we can see, apparently she wasn't.
I never thought I would get divorced. So when things continued to happen during our separation and we ended up getting divorced, I was furious.
So she's furious that the divorce she initiated ran its course, and the relationship she broke up and destroyed got destroyed. I swear you can't make this shit up.
I was mad for years. I was very mad because I never thought I was going to get divorced. I thought that and this is my thought then, this is not in any way shade to him, but I thought he would come to his senses and say, I don't want to lose my family, and let's put this family back together.
He's the one, not her, but him. He's the one who needed to come to his senses, even though she's the dumbass who filed for divorce and broke up their family and their home. But this is how women like that think. Instead of having a decent conversation, instead of respecting the man as the equal part of the relationship, all they see is their own will, their own thoughts, their own volitions. And when they can't get their way, they panic, act out like a child having a tantrum, and do something stupid, and then, after the fact, still will not accept accountability for the decision that they made. Unreal. This woman, she simply did her ex-husband a favor, because if this is the type of game that she would play with life-altering consequences with somebody who had already committed himself to her, then she's a problem. She's a problem that needed to weed itself out, and thankfully, that's exactly what happened. She weeded herself out of the garden.
But that didn't happen, and we got divorced. And then again, I felt abandoned.
Abandoned, she says. She feels abandoned by her husband, even though she's the one who abandoned him. God damn.
And what I felt after the divorce is something that I think a lot of people may feel, but they don't know how to articulate, is every single person that is supposed to love me, that is supposed to care for me, that is supposed to do right by me, that is supposed to be there for me, every single person to this date has not done that.
But heaven forbid that she ever has the epiphany and realize that that's exactly who she's been for her husband. Her husband, who committed himself enough to marry her, apparently had to come up to this rude awakening one day when she failed to be there for him, when she failed to love him in the way that she swore. This woman swore vows, which apparently just meant nothing to her because of whatever her standard of temporary happiness was. She abandoned her husband. She filed for divorce, and up to this point, she still hasn't said anything bad about this man. If anything, she sounds like she actually wants the relationship back and to have it continue. Again, you can't make this bullshit up.
And I could not understand that. I did not understand why I was going through this again.
At this point, I say tell the truth and shame the devil. Moreover, the more we hear these bullshit stories where these women are divorcing their husbands, they're not telling us that the husbands cheated on them, they're not telling us that these men were abusive, they're not telling us that these men were horrible men, but instead what they tell us is that these men were earnest providers, protectors, so on and so forth. Tell us that you found a new dick to ride without telling us that you found a new dick to ride. You thought the grass was green on the other side, and the shit just didn't work out. No, whatever that new dick was left your ass high and wet. That's what it was. He left you with a wet ass and no future. And that same man that you decided to abandon just because, yeah, that man moved on with his fucking life. He realized that you were not the woman that you said you were. You certainly weren't the wife that you agreed to be. And he moved the fuck on. That's what happened. And you thought that just because you were trying to play these games and make him miserable just so that you could have your way, that he was going to give in. No. You found out the hard way that the man you married was every bit of a man. Not some little boy, not some boyish man, but a grown-ass man who said, fuck it, if you don't want to be with it, if you don't want to stay here with me, then go and be free. Live your life, I'm going to live mine. And that's exactly what the fuck he did. You wanted him to be miserable. He's not. You made a life-altering decision off of a temporary infatuation or a temporary emotion, and you lost. Suck it up, buttercup. Do better and move on. He already has. More than likely, he probably has found a brand new girlfriend, fiance, or wife already. And now that new woman, she's going to experience all the benefits of having a man like him in her life. And you get to go back and do whatever it was you were doing before you met this man. Good luck and Godspeed.